Listen to your breath.
Please welcome author, humorist, and your bedtime storyteller, Dylan Brody.
Hair. Ellen leafed through the magazines on the little coffee table in the waiting area. She imagined herself wearing the clothes of the celebrities on the pages. She imagined herself turning, cameras flashing, smiling with effortless grace. She shook her head dismissively. She stood up. Tammy put a finger up to the woman whose hair she was cutting, signaling her to stop speaking for a moment. What's up? Do I have time to step outside for a cigarette while I wait? Absolutely. You know you're early, right? Am I? I have you down for 12:30. Yes. What time is it now? 12:20 now. I like to be punctual. I'll be ready for you at 12:30. I'm going out for a cigarette then. Okay. You're not allowed to smoke inside anywhere anymore. I'll be ready in about 10 minutes. We used to just smoke anywhere. Movies, airplanes, offices. Yeah, plenty of time. Can you believe it's been 45 years? What has? That I've been smoking. Tammy allowed her focus to shift back to the work at hand, pulling the comb through her client's hair, trimming the extended ends. I don't feel old enough to have been smoking for that long. Tammy surreptitiously rolled her eyes in the mirror at the woman in her chair. The woman suppressed a smirk. You'd think I started smoking when I was 11, right? I mean, that's because of you, of course. It's the hair that gives me that youthful sparkle. She laughed. If you want to get that cigarette in before I'm ready for you, Ellen said, right you are. The door made its little jangly sound as she stepped outside. She wrapped her long coat tighter around herself irritably as the wind slipped through the loose weave of Boston's streets. She cupped a hand around her plastic lighter as she put flame to tobacco. The flame blew out twice before she realized she could turn her back to the wind for better cover. She drew the first pull of smoke into her lungs. She studied the parked cars, the absurdly expensive ones that seemed, as always, to be recently washed. The filthy old junkers that some people drove around in with no seeming self-consciousness at all, covered in years of city grime, back seats littered with old fast food bags. She wondered if she looked elegant, standing on the sidewalk, cigarette in one hand, the other tucked into a pocket. She chuckled at the thought. Imagine me, she thought, looking elegant when I'm really just out here to smoke before a haircut. She turned into the chill wind so that it would properly blow her overgrown hair back instead of just messing it up and driving it across her face. A delivery truck pulled up at the building next door and a young man got out and carried a package inside. He glanced at her and gave a friendly nod. She waved with her left hand so that he could see her wedding ring. When he came back out, he didn't seem to notice her, so she said, "You must be freezing." Startled, he turned. "What's that?" "I can't believe you're out in shorts in this weather." "Oh, I'm fine. I'm used to it." "Ah, youth," Ellen said with the inflection that made it witty. The man waved and nodded again as he got back into his truck and drove away. It was nice, the interaction, small but nice. No matter how old she got, Ellen enjoyed feeling attractive, having young men flirt with her like that. She crushed out her cigarette on the sidewalk and pushed back inside. Tammy swept the floor around her chair as the previous client settled up with the woman at the reception desk. "Slide on in. I'm all ready for you." Ellen slipped out of her coat, hung it from a coat tree that served to display handmade scarves that the salon sold. As Ellen took the big chair that faced Tammy's mirror, Tammy signaled the receptionist with a subtle tilt of the head so that she would move the coat to one of the hooks near the door that were there for that purpose. Tammy stood behind Ellen and talked to her via the reflection as she ran her fingers through the woman's hair, exploring its length and texture. "What are we doing today?" "Oh, the same as always, go fairly short. You know, not like a 1920s flapper, but what's it called?" "Short?" "Yes." I think Paul likes it more when it's short. Can you do, what do you call that haircut that looks like she gestured in a way that was intended to define a desired shape, but seemed to indicate that she was trying to put on an imaginary motorcycle helmet? You know what I mean? Um, that thing that makes you look like an adorable elf. Tammy laughed. Pixie cut? She snapped a nylon poncho around Ellen's neck. Yes, is that what it's called? I like that. A pixie cut. We can do that. Of course we can. I have faith in you. Good to know. Okay, wash first. Oh, that's not necessary. I took a shower before I left the house this morning. All right. She spritzed water onto Ellen's hair from a plastic squirt bottle. We just got a new shower head. It's incredible. It has all these different settings. It can be a gentle rain or a pounding massage or, oh, just whatever you like. It's really extraordinary. Is it on a hose? What? Is it the kind of thing you can use handheld on a hose? Oh, no, nothing like that. She paused for a moment thinking about it. She said, that would be lovely, though. Tammy began combing out Ellen's hair. She pulled it back. She pushed it forward. She examined it in the mirror. I might never get out of the shower. Tammy laughed. Just think of the things you could do with that. Yeah, got it. Right? Tammy nodded. She began cutting Ellen's hair. Ellen said, I didn't write that. What? That joke. I can't take credit for it. What joke? I might never get out of the shower. Okay. I went to see my son at a nightclub once doing one of his stand-up comedy skits. And one of the comics saw a woman laughing in the front row. And he said, when you laugh, you put your head right in your lap. Then he said, if I could do that, I would never leave my house. It's really the same joke. Yeah, I don't think he wrote that joke either. Don't they have to? What? I don't think they're allowed to just go up and do jokes other people have written, unless they paid for them. Tammy shrugged. How is your son? What? Your son. You said you were there to see him perform? Oh, we didn't stay. It was a long night. This was back in New York. It wasn't a big deal show. It was just a showcase club, one comic after another all night long. Okay. Some of them had a funny joke or two, but most of them just, yeah. You know who I enjoy? I like Eddie Izzard. I think he's very funny. Is he the weird guy who always looks constipated? I don't know who that is. Oh, yes, you do. He's very funny. Tammy shrugged apologetically. No, he's British and he's a transvestite and he's really smart. I think he's a certifiable genius. Oh, I'll have to look into him. Is he on the internet? Tammy nodded. Lizard? No, thank you. I've eaten. What? Izzard. Eddie Izzard. Ellen nodded. I'll remember that. Then after a moment, no, thank you, I've eaten. That's funny. Thank you. I'm pretty sure I didn't write it. Ellen watched in the mirror as the scissors darted, a hummingbird snapping about her ears. I've thought about it, though. Tammy kept working. She did not bother to ask. She knew the thought would play out. Writing jokes. I think I'd be very good at it. I used to write poetry, and I think it's a lot the same. Huh? Trying to remain engaged in the conversation, but uncertain as to what direction it was now taking. Tammy focused on her work. Economy of words is the key, I think. Not saying too much, giving just enough information, and then letting it go. You know what I mean? I never really thought about it. I was pretty good. Got 3 pieces into the pages when I was at Barnard. What's that? It's a college. I did undergrad there. Tammy laughed. No, the pages. I don't know what that means. Oh, that was a magazine, short fiction, poetry, that sort of thing. It wasn't a big deal, but at the time I was so excited. I still have a few copies somewhere. That's very cool. I didn't know you were published. Oh, I wouldn't say that I'm published. You just said it was a long time ago, and it was a small magazine. I don't think it's even still in print. Do you still write? I haven't had time. It's fine, though. I thought I'd be able to be a wife and a mother and still write, but I'm happy with the choices I made. I love my kids, and they both turned out terrific, and they both picked up the writing gene too. So that's kind of like I'm writing all the time, right? Kind of. Tammy mussed up Ellen's hair and then combed it down again, examining her work. I think about it, though, she sighed. I used to sit at the manual typewriter, roll in a sheet of paper, and just tell the truth. It wasn't really all that difficult for me. Just all the thoughts and ideas that ran around in my head, tickety-tackety out onto the page, and then people really liked them. One professor said that I had a real knack for it. He said he had never seen anyone reveal so much of their inner life without lapsing into self-conscious irony. Wow. I never really knew what he meant, but I took it as a compliment. Tammy nodded. I liked him a lot. He was one of my favorite teachers. I think he found me very attractive, but I didn't really think of him in that way, you know? He was in his 30s. He seemed so old to me at the time. Can you imagine? I used to think, Ellen went on, I remember knowing that if I wore a skirt and sat in the front row, he would get flustered, but it didn't matter. By then I'd met Paul and we were pretty much going steady. Pretty much going steady? Oh, I don't know what it's called now, going out, dating. No, I got that. It was the pretty much I was asking about. He was working some things out. He wasn't sure about me. Well, not just me, all of it. She made a gesture that was meant to make clear what all of it was, but just seemed to imply that she needed to get cobwebs unstuck from her fingers. A brief sadness crossed her face, and Tammy saw it in the mirror, but decided not to ask what it meant, where it had come from. Tammy brushed hair from Ellen's smock and then unsnapped it and folded it aside in a gesture so practiced it was automatic. She fluffed Ellen's hair with her fingers a last time and then used a blow dryer to clear away any remaining clippings from her shoulders and face. Ellen said, "You're a wonder, kid." She liked to be encouraging, to let people feel good about themselves when they were around her. It was nice to have good friends like Tammy that she could talk to. Tammy held up a mirror behind Ellen's head. Ellen examined herself admiringly, but not particularly closely. She had no criticism. Listen to your breath.